Joining me now is Aaron David Miller. He's a former State Department Middle East advisor, senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Aaron, good to see you as always. Appreciate you taking the time today. Your thoughts on this ground offensive by the Israelis?
Look, it's an inevitable result of the reality that two combatants have fundamentally different end states and end requirements, Hamas and the current government of Israel. And there's no external force, whether it's the Europeans, the international community, and the United States, that seems to be willing and able to inject this sort of urgency and pressure into trying to find a way to diffuse this. And I think we're approaching the second year of October 7th, and we're no closer to ending the war on terms that normal humans would regard as an end to the war.
What's your read on the Trump administration's approach to this, Aaron?
I think by and large the president, let's just talk about the president, no one else really seems to matter, it basically agrees with the Israelis that Hamas needs to be eliminated. He may be unhappy, frustrated, annoyed by the tactics the Israelis are using, but as you saw from that previous comment, most of the blame, rightly, in some respects, with respect to the hostages for sure, falls on Hamas in this regard. So I don't think the Trump administration, like the Biden administration, is able, but it's unwilling to apply any sort of serious pressure. Whether that would force the Israeli government to end the war, I'm not sure about that. But you have a situation in which Hamas wants an end to the war and the withdrawal of all Israeli forces and its survival as an organization. Netanyahu wants total victory, not just hollowing out Hamas as a military organization, but eliminating it completely from any influence that it can have in Gaza. And he's not willing to do that, in part for political reasons. So this is going to go on and on until one or more of the combatants decides to alter their strategies, or when you get serious intercession from an external party. I just don't see the Brits, the French, the Germans, the Canadians, the Australians, the Trump administration. Look what you just saw in Doha. You saw the Israelis strike an Arab capital. You saw an extraordinary meeting of an Arab summit, and nothing came out of it to impose any sort of cost on the Israelis or the Trump administration.
We're going to show a map, Aaron, where we've got you here, just for our viewers across the country, to give them a sense of what we're talking about here. Gaza, we see Gaza City in the northern part of the Strip here. I'm curious, this is going to be, it already is, urban warfare. The Israelis are saying there are thousands of Hamas fighters in Gaza City. Does this strategy make sense? In other words, will it be effective in terms of what Israel is trying to do, which is to eliminate Hamas?
I think the answer is no. The Israelis face three problems. Hamas is now an insurgency. It's no longer a military force capable of inflicting significant damage on Israel proper, but it does have the capacity to kill Israeli forces. I think you may see, if the Israelis go through with this, we have not yet seen the deployment of Israeli ground forces into Gaza City proper. They control 40% of it already. They estimate there are 2,000 to 3,000 Hamas fighters, IEDs, ambushes with RPGs. That's what we're looking at. Second is the humanitarian problem. 300,000, estimated anywhere from 200,000 to 300,000 Palestinians have fled. They're moving into central and southern Gaza, where they lack the basic infrastructure, access to potable water, sanitation, medical care, and enough food. And then finally, there's the issue of a military administration. If Israel does occupy Gaza City, they are going to be obligated to deal and care with the basic needs and requirements as an occupying force of the local population. Frankly, I think that this is, in many respects, a march of folly. It's going to lead to, I hope not, putting hostages at risk. More Palestinian civilians are going to die. At the end of the day, I'm not sure the Israelis have the capacity to do what they want to do, the prime minister, to do what he wants to do with respect to eliminating Hamas as an organized entity in Gaza.
Aaron, as always, it's wonderful to have you and your insights with us here in Canada. Thank you so much for joining us on CTV News today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Aaron David Miller, a leading expert on the Middle East, former State Department advisor on the Middle East, and now senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. And for the